Welcome to my channel, Learn and Earn, to live your life on your own terms. What? You're welcome to my channel, Learn and Earn Academy. And today in this video, we are going to talk about Economic Survey of India, Chapter 1, Shifting Gears Private Investment. Now, Economic Survey of India is a comprehensive document which is released by Government of India, Finance Department, every year before the budget. This survey covers the broad economic parameters of the economy, both macro and at micro level. It lays down the foundation on which the country's economic policies are laid down. It gives a comprehensive overview of the entire economic activity and the areas in which the country can do much better. This survey is not only important for a layman but also for a person who is somewhere affected by the economic activity within the nation. And I'm sure we all are. So, this economic survey is going to be very important for all of us. So, let us see what the first chapter is all about. Now, when we talk about shifting gears, private investment is the key driver for growth, jobs, exports, and demands. Now, in order to move the economy forward and in order to increase or improve the growth rate, get more number of jobs, exports, and demands, private investment needs to be increased. Now, during the last 5 years, India's economy has performed well. To achieve the objective of becoming a 5 trillion economy by 2024-25, India needs to sustain a real GDP growth rate of 8%. Now, why 5 trillion economy? Now, it's an ambitious target given by our honorable Prime Minister once he got elected for the second time as the Prime Minister. He has given the target of making India a 5 trillion economy in the next 5 years. And for that to achieve, we need to grow at a growth rate of 8%. Now, international experience suggests that such growth can only be sustained by a virtuous cycle of saving, investment, and export, supported by favorable demographic phase. Now, what do you mean by virtuous cycle of saving, investment, and exports? Now, these three elements of this virtuous cycle are important to make the economy function well. So, the people need to save money because savings will impact how people take decisions in their lives, how people make sure that they are giving or they are getting everything which they want from for their life, such as getting proper treatment, getting proper education, and saving is equally important for the future of every human being. Investment will drive growth, and export will substantially improve the foreign money or the foreign currency of a country. And favorable demographic means the population. Now, India is a country of young people, and to use demography, these young population, to our advantage is a very important factor for growth. Now, private investment is the key driver of growth, jobs, exports, and demand. So, once private investment is there in a country and it increases, there will be growth, jobs, exports, and there will be a lot of demand in the market. People will start consuming more, people will create a market. There will be more demand of goods and services. Export must form an integral part of the growth model. Similarly, job creation is driven by this virtuous cycle. Capital investment fosters job creation. Now, if we see the last 5 years, what have been or what has been the accomplishment of our country in the last 5 years? The first is macroeconomic stability. What do you mean by macroeconomy? Now, macroeconomy are the broad parameters of the economy, such as inflation, growth rate, stability. Now, India became the sixth largest economy and fastest major growing economy in the world. Now, this is a very important achievement for India in the last 5 years. Current account deficit remained with management levels and foreign exchange reserves rose to all time high. Average inflation in these 5 years matched the lowest level attained in the country post independence history. Now, these are such important fundamental macroeconomic numbers which are required for a country to perform well. Fiscal Responsibility Budget Management Act of 2003 mandates the ratio of gross fiscal deficit to GDP to reach a target of 3%. This ratio also declined from 4.5% to 3.4% in 2018-19. So in 2003, Fiscal Responsibility Budget Management Act was passed, which required the government to bring down the fiscal deficit to 3%. In government in the last 5 years has brought the fiscal deficit from 4.5% to 3.4%, which is a very significant achievement. The second important aspect which has really improved in the last 5 years is the beneficiary focus in targeted delivery. The Aadhaar Act 2016 opened one of the pathways for trickle down. The government now has the ability to provide targeted support. Now, Aadhaar covers almost 90% of the population. And on the basis of Aadhaar card, the beneficiaries are getting the money directly transferred to their account. So there is no intermediary. The people don't have to run from pillar to post to different bank branches to seek help of government employees. Everything is done automatically, directly in their bank account. So there is no way an act of corruption can take place. Now, another pathway for trickle down is Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana, which is also called JAM Trinity. So, Jan Dhan, Aadhaar, and mobile. Now, these three things, when came together, ensured that people are getting the benefits. The trickle down approach, which means any money which is given by the government gets directly credited in the account of the person. So there is no scope of corruption in between. Further, direct benefit transfers to the intended beneficiaries was done using JAM Trinity, Jandhan, Aadhaar, and Mobile. Now, what do you mean by Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana? Now, it has provided more than 70 million LPG connections, which have helped the women below the poverty line to come up the ladder and do something good for their families. Now, can you imagine a woman from a rural background or from a village has to take out almost half of the day to gather wood or has to arrange how to cook the food? And the food which she cooks was not only unhealthy, but it was making her a victim of diseases. Now, this has been completely removed by Ujjwala Yojana. Clean gases, clean house gas has been provided to these women. So, to provide basic safety need, Aishman Bharat Yojana, which gives an insurance cover of rupees 5 lakh for cashless treatment to each of 100 million BPL families at a nominal premium of 100 rupees per month. So, the most important aspect of poverty is debt trap. And a poor person always remains poor because he is trapped in the vicious cycle of debt. So, if there is someone in the family who falls ill, in order to provide treatment to that family member, the entire family has to get into the vicious circle of poverty. They borrow money, they will not be able to pay is because they don't earn money, and hence they have to keep on borrowing money again and again, and they never come out of debt trap. So through this program, Aishman Bharat Yojana, 5 lakh insurance cover is provided to the BPL families at a nominal premium of 100 rupees per month, which is a very, very good program. Now let's talk about the another aspect of economy which has really uh, given India a great push towards development in the last 5 years, which is infrastructure. Now in April 2018, electricity finally reached every village in India with effort to electrify every home, which is still ongoing. So every village, every home in the village has electricity now. Now you can see the ripple effect of this important intervention of government. Once you're providing electricity to a particular home in the village and the home gets empowered. The children get time to study. Their productivity improves. They watch television. They consume electricity, operate and work on computers, and learn and get close to the world which is already moving at such a fast pace. 20% of the existing national highways, which is around 1,32,000 kilometers, has been constructed in the last 4 years alone. Now, this has never been happened. 1,32,000 kilometers of road being constructed in last 4 years. Udan scheme to foster regional connectivity by extending flight connectivity to tier 3 and tier 4 towns in the country. Now, once you make these small towns and cities connected with each other, now you can imagine the amount of benefits which you're providing to the city, to the small town. An Udan scheme is fostered to do that, to provide that regional connectivity. The infrastructure of the northeastern states was a special focus. The newly constructed 4.94 kilometers long Bogie Bell Bridge in Assam is second longest rail-cum road bridge in Asia. Now, northeastern states getting connected to the entire nation will self improve and bring so much of economic activity and bring India on a growth path. The next important aspect which has really improved over the last 5 years is federalism. 14th Finance Commission increased the share of states in the divisible pool of central taxes from 32% to 42%, thus strengthening fiscal federalism. Now, federalism is a concept in which the state and the center work together for the betterment of the nation. Now, whatever taxes the central government collects, out of that, 42% will be allocated to the states. Now, how good is that? GST and GST Council added a new dimension to center state and interstate financial relations. Niti Aayog has set up teams from both the states and the central government to jointly evolve strategies for addressing development challenges. Now, what is corporate exit? Now, this is such an important decision which has been taken by the government. IBC was introduced in 2016. It consolidated the insolvency resolution process into a single law. Now, if a company is not able to sustain itself within the first 1 or 2 years, it should be allowed to exit and not become a burden on the economy. So, if a person is sick and is not able to recover, you provide medicine and you treat the person, not let the person keep on with the same ailment or the disease. Similarly, the the companies, the entrepreneurs, the enterprises which are not able to sustain themselves should be allowed to exit as easily as they were able to come up with that organization. So IBC sets a time limit for closing of insolvency and bankruptcy cases so that the amount of money which is restricted or locked at a period or an enterprise gets freed. So large sums recovered by creditors from the resolution or liquidation, a framework for exit has improved the overall business culture of the country. Now, let's talk about the next 5 years. What is the blueprint for growth and jobs which the Economic Survey of India has proposed? Now, with the microeconomic and macroeconomic foundations laid over the last 5 years, the Indian economy is ready to shift gears so that economic growth, jobs, and exports can be pushed up to the next level. Emphasizing growth, India aims to grow to a 5 trillion economy by 24-25, which will make India the third largest economy in the world. This requires annual growth rate of GDP of 8%. So, what are the ingredients of a model that can generate such a growth? How can India reach a growth, GDP growth of 8% every year and become a 5 trillion economy in the next 5 years? A virtuous cycle of saving, investment, export, and growth with investment as the central driver. Private investment has to be the key driver that can create self-sustaining virtuous cycle in India. Now, evidence supporting the virtuous cycle view, the evidence suggests that savings, investment, GDP growth have grown in a virtuous cycle, such as China and other Asian economies, and they have really improved and gained a lot from this virtuous cycle. Importance of saving. Now, savings have to increase more than investment to allow for accumulation of precautionary savings. Jobs, a general apprehension is that high investment rate will substitute labor. So there has been a debate about labor intensive versus capital intensive modes of production. However, the Chinese experience illustrates that high investment rates also create most jobs. The fourth important factor in this virtuous cycle is export. Now, capital investment enhances total factor productivity, which in turn enhances export performance. Therefore, investment becomes crucial for enhancing export performance. Now, going beyond the economics of equilibrium in the blueprint. Now, economics may rarely be in state of equilibrium. Global financial crisis highlighted that economies may be in a vicious cycle. Economic thinkers now acknowledge that economies are being at constant disequilibrium of virtuous or vicious cycle provides more apt framework for the current times. Navigating a world of constant disequilibrium, an economy that is in a constant state of disequilibrium needs a new approach to navigate. Navigating this uncertain world of disequilibrium requires three elements: a clear vision, which a government is going to give because it's a stable government, a majority government elected by the people, a general strategy to achieve the vision. So, if you have a clear vision, a strong government, you are in a position to have a strategy to achieve that vision of yours. The flexibility and willingness to continuously recalibrate tactics in response to unanticipated situations. So, what are some of the tools to navigate the economy in a constant state of disequilibrium? You can go through this chart. Now, if we talk about behavioral economics, legal system of contract enforcement, what are the major factors of reforms and risk? Role of job creation and earnings, restricted labor regulations, the role of financial sector, the risk return trade off in the economy, the way forward. This video is going to take a long time. So, what I would request you is to go through these important slides and read and understand the implications of these important interventions of how government is planning to bring change in the country. So if you like this video, you can press the like button, subscribe to our channel, and share it on social media. Help us to spread education in this beautiful world. Thank you. Have a great day.